Our lesson today is titled On the Antithetical Emotions to Compassion and Love. Now, the word antithetical means opposed or against the theory of, because thetical is theory or opposition to, antithetical. Now, we humans, we change our minds often. Other creatures really don't. If an ant is going across a sidewalk, for instance, because it's following the chemical trail one of its brother or sister ants laid down saying, this is the way to food, woohoo, this is the way to food, it will continue along that trail until it gets to food, until it dies from the heat from the sun boiling its guts on the sidewalk, or a foot interrupts its life. Same with the bunnies in your backyard. I feed the bunnies because I like bunnies. But other people don't like bunnies. But they know where food is. They know where plentiful water is. Hi, come to my house. And they will go and do things as they have done, without changing their mind, without doing things a different way, until something makes them change. Often, we humans appear such a faithless lot, so inconsistent, so unable to accept the decision we have already given our vow or pledge bond to uphold. Instead, being wont of both sides of every decision, receiving the benefits of both sides of an argument or decision, but refusing to accept or accede to any of the negatives of the process. In effect, acting and saying, I'll take all the benefits of our process, but you must accept all the costs for me to grant you this. What a snaggy puss you must be. What a bloody crock of immature, immodest, and inappropriate crap. Or as we would say in Great Britain, what a bloody load of cheek you've got. We did not have to give all of the benefits in order to avoid the anger and hatred of the other side. We simply refused to do any kind of negotiations with an immature and inappropriate negotiating partner. And then, having stated our process, get up and leave. By leaving, we win. We have what he wants. But by leaving the table before the negotiations can even start, due to the immaturity, immodesty, and the inappropriateness of the behavior of their side's negotiator, not a thing can they do until or unless they dump his sorry assets by the side of the road and bring in a mature adult with whom we can work. Compassion and love cannot coexist with anger and or hatred. The more our anger and hatred will be reduced, the more we can cultivate compassion and love, or vice versa. The more we cultivate compassion and love, the more our anger and hatred must reduce. And in all settings, the more you set boundaries and behavioral minimum standards of decorum, and the more you enforce them. Setting the standard doesn't mean diddly squat if you just say them, but do not enforce those boundaries. The other side will then be forced to agree to these very simple terms, and then you have won. An example is behave like moral adults. No rude or inappropriate commentary. Be kind and polite to all at the table. As I'm sure you can already figure out, I was the head negotiator. And some on my side didn't understand why I spent so much time not sitting. I would not sit until the other side behaved. But they like to behave, oh, look at her, booby, 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 or, some sort of 5-year-old crap that little boys play, but not that adults speak of or behave of. And if any member of the other party ever held both hands in front of his chest, negotiations were done. And whatever party I was negotiating for, I told the head of their delegation, you are done. We are not going back to the table until X, Z, A, and D are gone from the table. Sexual harassment has no place in the workplace. Neither does it have any place at a negotiating table. And the other, whoever I was working for was always surprised. Well, they joke a lot. I said, joking is not sexual harassment. Boys will be boys is not something that we tolerate, ever, in the workplace. And women were always so surprised that I held the line. But if we don't hold the line, you know what they're going to do. Over and over and over again. And think it's funny. And think that it's allowed. Compassion brings peace of mind. And if we have that, we won't be deflected and negative events won't occur. Giving material goods is one term of generosity, but we can extend an attitude of generosity into all behaviour. It also sparks our compassion, which kindles love for others. For instance, being kind, attentive, and honest in dealings with all others, offering praise where it is due, giving comfort and advice when needed, and simply, quite simply, sharing our time with someone. All these are forms of personal generosity, and they do not require any particular level of material wealth. This shows a generous nature, a generosity of spirit, and a generosity of mind. You must be open to see these opportunities, to see these times, and to take them whenever you are around others. If you are stingy with praise to people who work with you or to people who work for you, you have no generous mind. You have not a generous spirit. And you must look at why you don't. For if you withhold any compassion or any praise, you have had it withheld from you, always. You must find out in your life where it was withheld and seek it out. Or seek it out from someone who is a reasonable facsimile of that person. Because having not received it earlier in your life, you withhold it from all other persons in your life, as that person taught you to. If, for instance, when I was out helping on the farm, the first 2 years, I was a total klutz. I didn't know my elbow from etc., etc. But then as I figured it out, I was, 11, 13 years old, something like that. But as I figured out how my body works, how bits and pieces of the farm machinery worked, I quit receiving praise. I quit hearing, good job, way to go. Because they expected more of me But as I did more, I received less and less praise. And Dean finally called me and said, "Why are we not seeing you?" I said, "Because you don't want me." He said, "Of course I want you." He goes, "You're one of my best little workers." I said, "Dean, when I am working for merely the praise out of your lips, and I receive none of it, why would I ever work for you?" And he was just astonished. He could not believe, one, that a child would say that to him so plainly, so openly. But number two, he hadn't realized that he had stopped praising the children working for him. Be aware of yourself. Be aware of when you are not giving praise. If you must, mark it on your cell phone, mark it on your calendar, do something so that you are aware of how often you praise people in your office, on your team. Even if it's just a simple, "Good job, way to go. You handled that caller well." You must be open to see these opportunities, to see these times and to take them whenever you are around others. And all of these are forms of basic human love, the foundations of compassion, and the theory of do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And you can be generous and compassionate and loving to an animal too. Be aware of yourself. Be aware of what you are saying, what you are doing, and how you are saying and doing it at all times. Peace of the Lord Jesus Christ be with each of you always. You are all in my prayers, always. Peace.